With my shaking body and racing heart, I peeked inside the bathroom. I saw Jolene sitting on the floor facing her back at me. She had a knife in her hand, soaked in blood. She was stabbing something repeatedly.
Now, what you be like an animal?
Suddenly, realizing my presence, she looked back.
Pam!
What's good, YouTube? LTM. Welcome to 3 True Babysitting Horror Stories animated. See, I don't really have any horror games to play, so I was like, you know what? Let me make a series of us just reacting to scary animated. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I knew something was wrong with her the day she came for the interview. Her whole demeanor seemed odd to me. She had these old framed glasses and a stern face, but she somehow managed to impress us with her professional behavior. She said her name was Jolene. I took her to the children's bedrooms one after the other. She didn't seem much interested though. The way she walked was weird too. Her upper body was slouched, showing her layered belly.
100, guys.
I showed her where the toiletries are kept, but she was more interested in watching TV in the hall across.
Jolene? Jolene! Yeah? Did you hear what I just said? Sorry, I got distracted. Please, pay attention.
Soon, Jolene became a presence in the house. My 5-year-old son and 2-year-old daughter are shy kids.
They finna die.
They never made a fuss. Jolene was good with them, but she hardly interacted with my kids. She always kept to her job. This is the only reason she kept being our kids' nanny. But soon, things started to change. One day, I entered my son's room and saw him holding his breath. Jolene was folding his clothes and saying,
Don't cheat now. You know you made a mistake.
I opened the door and said,
What's going on here?
So you're telling me the narrator is a man, but in the story he's you know what?
My son's face was turning red. I rushed towards him and screamed.
Stop it!
My son exhaled deeply. I turned towards Jolene.
Why was he holding his breath?
No, Mama. I made a mistake. Jolene told me not to mess up the washed clothes. We don't learn without punishment, right?
What the? Jolene? Is this what you're teaching my kids?
My husband rushed into the room hearing my voice. I explained everything. We both warned Jolene not to punish our kids no matter what. She must inform us first, and we will decide what happens next. Jolene obviously didn't seem much happy about it. I was so mad at her, but I couldn't kick her out of the house because of my husband. I avoided her and cut off her wage for her behavior with my son. Every day after work, Jolene would ask my permission before going home. So one day I was busy doing our taxes. It was around 7 p.m. My kids have yet to go to bed. They wanted to play for some time more, so I let them. Jolene asked me,
Can I go home now? Stay until they go to bed, okay?
She didn't say anything, just looked at me in a very creepy way. A smirk came to her face and she silently left.
Oh my God.
Time went by and I tucked my kids into bed. My husband and I had dinner and went to bed as usual. It was around 2 in the morning. I woke up feeling thirsty. I came down and didn't bother to switch in the light. The pale moonlight from the window was enough to get by. I poured water into the glass when I felt a deep breath on my shoulder.
No!
I turned around and saw a pair of eyes glowing behind me. The owner of the eyes brought her face closer, and I saw it was Jolene.
Can I go home now, ma'am? Oh my God, you're still here? You told me to stay, so... Good Lord, Jolene. Yes, you can go home.
I woke my husband up and he drove Jolene home. One day I took my kids to the park for a small picnic. Jolene was holding the pram with my daughter in it. My son ran ahead of us, pointing out to a tree. We sat under the shade of it and my kids played right in front of my eyes while I had some fresh juice. Jolene was standing in the corner when I saw her looking at a woman. Her face changed. She got nervous, and the woman, too, has started approaching her now. The woman came to us and hugged Jolene.
How are you now?
You can hug.
Fine. What are you doing here? I got shifted to the hospital here. Anyways, take care.
She left and I was confused.
Jolene, how do you know this woman? I had an accident last year. She was a nurse at the Harrington Hospital. She took good care of me.
I couldn't believe her words because the woman said similar things that made sense about this explanation, but deep down inside, I doubted it all. It was a Saturday night. My husband and I went out for dinner with a couple of friends. Jolene looked off more than ever. She hardly spoke a word after that incident in the park. Kissing my kids goodbye, I left in the car with my husband.
Oh, no.
On the way back, I called to the hospital where Jolene was admitted. I asked about Jolene's record, and they said they gave me the shocking news. Jolene was a patient there, but she never had any accidents. She was there for 3 years, in the psychiatric ward. I knew she was crazy. I knew there was something wrong with her head. My husband never drove faster than that day in our entire life.
The kids are gone.
When we reached home, our house was in complete darkness. All the lights were turned off. We ran in.
Oh, heck no,
Jolene,
man.
kids, Mom and Dad are back.
Jolene! But it was dead silence. We walked upstairs and I began hearing this slashing sound. I walked into my daughter's bedroom and she was not there in her bed.
Oh,
the bathroom door was wide open,
God.
light coming from it, along with the slashing sound. With my shaking body and racing heart, I peeked inside the bathroom. I saw Jolene sitting on the floor facing her back at me. She had a knife in her hand, soaked in blood. She was stabbing something repeatedly.
Now, would you be like an
Suddenly,
animal?
realizing my presence,
heck
she
no,
looked back, and I saw a demon hiding in human form. Her huge grin told me what I had
Went
lost.
out the husband. Oh, I'm passed out.
The story you just saw is loosely based on the terrifying crime in the late afternoon of October 25th, 2012, at the La Rochelle apartment building on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Lucia
At
and
this
Leo
point, you're just saying
Krim,
what?
aged 6 and 2, were murdered by their nanny, Yoselin Ortega. She was convicted of
Forget that, man.
One time,
Story 2.
I took a babysitting gig on Halloween night.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, we need to talk. What's the name of this like YouTuber? I am Scary Toes, please. Why do you have absolute gorgeous baddies and then you just put a man's voice in there? Like, come on, bruh.
7-year-old daughter, Pamela. When I reached their house, Mr. and Miss Tillman were ready to go out. Miss Tillman took me inside and pointed at the freezer.
There's plenty of food. Eat whatever you like. And there's extra cash on the kitchen desk to order pizza.
W.
Pam has gone to bed already, so you won't have anything to worry about.
A car horn honked outside, and she rushed to the door saying,
I'll just be 3 houses away. Also, you have my number. Have a nice time, Mrs. Tillman.
I watched her driving off in a car. I closed the door and punched the security code to lock the house. The house was massive, and with the Halloween decor, it felt spooky to be the only one awake. I walked to the kitchen. From the big kitchen window, I saw kids running outside. I opened the freezer and took a can of ginger ale. I returned to the living room and switched on the TV to watch a scary movie. Just
Why?
then, my eyes noticed
You're
the
about to
half
be in
open
a
door
scary
of Miss Tillman's room. It almost gave me a heart attack. I could see 2 bright glowing fireballs glowing in that darkness. I would have screamed if the lightning didn't occur, illuminating the clown statue inside Miss Tillman's bedroom. I exhaled, then got up to go to the room. A storm was about to come. I could hear the dark clouds rumble.
This man.
My hand searched the wall beside the doorway, and I turned on the lights.
What the hell?
It was the statue of a jester, the professional clown who used to perform in court play. It was the first time I had seen something like this. It had a pointy, oddly shaped head. His eyes were sharp and broad. His attire seemed funny, but only his smile wasn't amusing enough. There was something very wrong with his smile. I noticed a hat with a bell attached under the statue. It must have fallen from his head. I picked it up and put it back on his bald
Ugh,
head.
what a
I
legend.
looked closely into his eyes.
Yep.
They were looking behind me, so they were not precisely
Oh,
creating eye
stop.
contact.
Stop.
Oh, God. The doorbell scared me. Who could it be at this hour? I opened the door
No
to
one's
see an
there.
empty porch. Slow rain had started by then, and the streets were deserted. Everyone had gone home. I checked around but saw no one, thinking it was a prank. I went back in, locked the door, and suddenly noticed the room upstairs. The room door was wide open. That's where Pamela, Miss Tillman's 7-year-old daughter, sleeps. I tiptoed and peeked inside. Pam wasn't in her bed, which quickly gave me goosebumps.
Pam? Pam? This isn't funny. Are you hiding in here somewhere? Pam?
Hey! No, I'm off this game. I'm off this shit. Oh, I just got scared by a 7-year-old, guys. I got scared from a 7-year-old, guys.
Sorry, it's Halloween.
I got scared from a 7-year-old. Nah, come here. I got scared.
Demon, you gave me a heart
Who
attack.
says that?
I tucked
Little
her back into
demon.
bed and climbed downstairs. I forgot to switch off the light in Miss Tillman's room. As I went to do that, I again noticed the clown statue. It made me very uncomfortable, so I grabbed the bedsheet and covered the creepy statue.
W.
I then switched off the light and closed the door. I came back from watching the TV when Miss Tillman called me.
Hi, I was wondering if you could stay for 2 more hours? My husband will drop you home once we get back. I'll pay you a little extra, Jess. Sure, works for me. Oh, and Mrs. Tillman? Yes? I hope you don't mind. I covered the clown statue in your bedroom. It was freaking me out,
What
so...
clown statue?
What? What statue? We don't have any clown statues, honey.
Oh my
phone slipped and fell to
god.
the ground.
Yeah, give
This
me an
planet's all
advert. Give me an
real.
advert. I'm taking a break.
But we're not treating it that way.
I'm taking a break.
Greenwashing speeches and pledges are
That
simply not
go.
enough.
I'm taking a
We
break.
can't save the planet by
Nah,
being
the
shy about
the
it.
video will be too long.
I heard it break into pieces, but I couldn't move. My legs felt numb. My body was shaking in fear. I slowly turned around facing Miss Tillman's bedroom door. It was still closed. The heavy rainstorm was going on outside.
I'm gonna start
I
swinging,
felt
bro.
my heart racing because there was no way I was mistaken about this clown statue. I opened the door and switched on the lights. What I saw made my stomach drop. There was no statue in the bedroom, only the bedsheet lying curled up on the floor.
Looking for me, Jessica?
Following the spine-chilling voice, I turned to the
Freaking
closet on my right,
heck.
and there he was, standing inside the closet. I could make out his shadowy appearance and his glowing eyes, but there was something new added to his costume. A baseball bat.
Oh my god!
I freaked out finally. All this time, what I assumed to be a lifeless statue was some creep dressed like a freaky
I'm running to
Halloween
Pam,
clown.
jumping out
I
the
rushed
window.
to the door and heard heavy footsteps behind me. I looked back and saw him walking towards me, laughing and swinging his bat. I kept crying and screaming as I rushed upstairs, but he grabbed me by my feet and pulled me down.
Oh heck no,
My
bro.
body scrubbed against the hard wooden stairs as I got dragged by this evil psycho.
Be a
As I
prank.
lay on the ground,
Oh heck no.
watching him lift his baseball
You
bat
get
with a
defeated
huge
that
grin,
quickly.
My life flashed before my eyes.
See you in hell, Jess.
He actually swung.
I heard Miss Tillman's voice and her loud knocking on the door.
Jess? Jess! Is everything alright? Open the door!
I was sobbing like a 9-year-old, thinking maybe he would swing the giant bat at me now. My brain would be scattered, and no one would know who did this. But he didn't. Instead, he gave me a death stare and said,
Done for the day, I guess. Happy Halloween.
He then ran to the kitchen. The sound of the window getting smashed echoed in the house, and I fainted. I woke up at the hospital the next day. Mr. and Miss Tillman reported to the cops and came to the hospital as well. I told them everything that I experienced. It's been 3 days now. There's no information on that guy who snooped inside the house and dressed as a clown. The cops got reports of 3 home invasions and 1 murder that same night. Was it all him?
Long day.
Or were there more like him? I don't know. I'm just happy the kid didn't encounter that freak, or she would have been traumatized for life.
Well, that was... I'm not going to watch everything because the video will be too long. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll be seeing you legends in episode 2. Adios.